Now let's study data mining technique called clustering. Clustering is the seventh module in which we would be studying clustering methods. In partitioning, we would be studying k-means. In hierarchical clustering, we would be studying agglomerative and divisive methods and model-based expectation and maximization. Clustering is similar to classification in which we were grouping the data. However, unlike classification, the groups are not predefined. Instead, the grouping is accomplished by finding similarities between data according to the characteristics found in the actual data. And these groups are called clusters. So, we do not have any predefined classes. The training example has attributes information only. So only attribute information is here. So if you see this example, that the last column, tennis, wherein the class was defined as no or yes, this is not there in clustering. It is an exploratory data analysis wherein we attempt to find the homogeneity in the homogeneous groups in the data. The useful applications of clustering are market segmentation, disease classification, pattern recognition, document retrieval, etc. What is clustering? Clustering is organizing data into classes such that there is high intra-class similarity. Intra-class similarity means if there is a group, then inside a particular group, the 2 points should be similar. High similarity between the 2 points inside a particular group. And low inter-class similarity means the point given over here in this group and the point in the other group should have low similarity. So we are in clustering, we are finding the class labels and the number of classes directly from data, which is not the case in classification. It is like we are finding natural grouping amongst the object that has been given to you. Now, what is natural grouping amongst objects? If suppose this particular group has been given to you and we have been asked to group people as human beings, then you can see that all of this would come in one group. But suppose if you have been asked to group them in as per gender, then maybe these groups will be created. Or if we are asked to create clusters as per employment, then maybe you will create this kind of a group. So clustering is very subjective. It depends upon what are you really looking at. Now, what is similarity? Similarity is the quality or the state of being similar. Likeliness, there is resemblance, similarity of features. But as you can see in this example, it is very difficult. Similarity is very hard to define. The goal of clustering is to partition a set of records into groups such that the record within the group are similar to each other and records between the two groups are dissimilar. Each record belongs to exactly one cluster. Similarity between records are measured computationally by a distance function. The smaller the distance, the more similar the data points are. The smaller the distance between the 2 points. The distance function takes two input records and returns a value that is a measure of their similarity. Different applications have different notions of similarity, and no one measure works for all domains. A similarity is domain or problem specific. Suppose if you're wanting to make groups of customers, then you may be looking at making a group of customers as per their demographics or as per their buying behaviors or as per maybe their health. So similar health people, we are putting them in same group. Or if we are grouping up products, maybe we want to group products as per similar cost or maybe the location where the products are available. So it's very domain specific. The output of a clustering algorithm consists of a summarized representation of each cluster. The type of summarized representation depends strongly on the type and the shape of the clusters the algorithm produces. A good clustering algorithm will produce high quality clusters. The similarity is given by the distance between the 2 points, and the similarity is the inverse of the distance between the 2 points. O1 and O2 are two objects of the universe. The distance, that is the dissimilarity between both the objects, is the real number denoted by this function. The property of distance measure are symmetry, reflexivity, and triangular inequality. If the distance between A and B is equal to the distance between B and A, then we say that there is a symmetry. If the distance between A and B is 0, then we say that A and B are equal. If distance between A and B is less than the total distance between A and C and B and C, then we say there is a triangular inequality. Clustering algorithms themselves may be viewed as hierarchical clustering or partitional. With partitional clustering, the algorithm creates only one set of clusters. These approaches use the desired number of clusters to drive how the final set is created. With hierarchical clustering, a nested set of clusters are created. Each level in the hierarchy has a separate set of clusters. At the lowest level, each item is in its own unique cluster. At the highest level, all the items belong to the same cluster. In partitional algorithms, we are not interested in individual points, but we are looking at groups. Therefore, distance between individuals are not important, but distance between groups or clusters are important. Here we are asking the question, how many clusters to partition in, and how to allocate the individuals to these clusters. A hierarchical clustering algorithm generates a tree of clusters. We have got two type of hierarchical clustering, agglomerative and divisive. In agglomerative, we start with each and every point is a cluster in itself, and we start merging these points to make larger and larger cluster till a particular criteria is met, a stopping criteria is met, or till each and every point has come into a large cluster. In the divisive approach, we are putting all the data points in one cluster, and now we are repeatedly splitting them into smaller and smaller clusters until a stopping criteria is met or till each point becomes a cluster in itself. In partition clustering, we start partitioning the data into K groups, wherein K would be specified by the user itself. These are some desirable properties of a clustering algorithm. The example over here is showing levels of clustering. Initially, we are having 6 clusters, 6 points are 6 clusters, and then we are finding elements which are nearer and we are combining them into groups. And at the end, what we find is every point in the study comes under one cluster. The clustering can be illustrated by the dendrogram. A dendrogram is a tree data structure which can be used to illustrate the hierarchical clustering technique. The root in the dendrogram contains one cluster where all the elements are together, and the leaf, that is over here, the leaf in the dendrogram each consists of single element structure. The internal nodes in the dendrogram represent new clusters formed by merging the clusters that appear as its children in the tree. Each level in the tree is associated with a distance measure that was used to merge the clusters. So we begin with a distance matrix which contains the distance between every pair of objects in our database. We are having 5 points out here. We are finding the distance between 2 points. So here we are having the distance between 2 points as 8. Now the similarity between this point and this point is there is no distance, so it is 0. Now the distance between this point and this point is given as 8. Similarly, we'll just find out the distance between every pair. The diagonal would be definitely 0, as you can see, and this part of the table would be not required to be filled, as it is just similar to the other half. So we will be starting with each item in the cluster is a cluster in itself. Now we'll look at the matrix and we'll see which points are having the least distance. So if we look at over here, this point and this point has got the least distance. Thus, we'll just combine these 2 points and make put them into one cluster. Then we'll see the matrix again and we'll see which is the next point which are nearer to each other. We find that this point and this point has the least distance. So what we'll do is we'll combine them and make them into another cluster. Similarly, we'll go ahead and see the matrix again, and what we find now is that the distance between this particular point and these points is the least, and we have seen that these points we have already combined into one cluster. So we'll go ahead and just combine both the clusters and make them into one cluster. Now we go and see the distance matrix again, and we are only left with one point that has not come into the cluster. So we go ahead and just add this point also in the cluster, and that completes the clustering. All points have now come into one big cluster.